Okay, worst books of the year. This is always a fun, sensitive video. I guess this is my first one on the channel, but when I watch everyone else's, there's always some drama. There's always some controversy. There's always some hot takes, and you know what? I am in the same boat. You'll be getting some hot takes here. I think I read mostly good books this year. I will be tier ranking all the books I've read in a video coming very, very shortly. But in this video, I'm gonna give you the 5 worst books that I read this year, and let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your worst books of the year were in the comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. There's something for everyone on this channel. First up, I should make a disclaimer. I joined a book club this year with some friends, and most of the books on this list are due to the books that I had to read for book club. First up is the Satsuma Complex. This is not a good book. It's one of those books that isn't trying to take itself too seriously, which kind of makes sense because I think the author was a comedian. But it's one of those books where, because of the topics explored, it kind of has to take itself seriously for it to work. The Satsuma Complex follows this very bland guy, everyday guy. He works for this law firm. He's like an assistant of some kind, and he meets up with a professional acquaintance who kind of slips him this USB drive, and afterwards is found dead. Turns out there's a whole conspiracy about, police cover-ups and corruption in South London. It's set in South London, and yeah, it goes into all of that. But at the same time, our main character, I forgot his name, honestly. He meets this girl at this pub after his acquaintance has run off, and they get talking, and he falls for her, but she vanishes. He can't find her, and he spends the next several pages looking for her around South London. Anyway, he finds her, and one of the weird things about this book is that it seemed like their love story was like the central premise of the book, about him finding her and doing all these things to find her. He finds her within, like, I don't know, the first 50 pages of the book. Like, the book's done. The book is done. This book is 200, 300 pages long. It's not long at all, but within the first 50 pages, it's finished, it's over. Anyway, this girl's involved in something deeper, and we learn more about her life and whatnot, and the guy she's with is a pretty dangerous guy who's involved in the police cover-ups. And so yeah, this guy just gets dragged into all of that. It was not a good book. It wasn't good. There's a reason why it got the rating it got. Moving on. There's going to be a lot of moving on in this book, in this video, because a lot of these books just get me angry thinking about them and just thinking about the time I spent reading them when I could have been reading something else. It's just, is what it is. Next up is Where Sleeping Girls Lie, which is a YA murder mystery set in this private boarding school in England. This book just didn't slap. It's so tropey and so Americanized to the point that it doesn't actually feel like it's set in England. There is a scene where two of the love interests or potential love interests travel to London, and I remember thinking, we're not in England. Like, what do you mean they're taking the train to London? We're in Virginia. We're in like some suburbs in Virginia, in like the rich part of like Virginia or something like that. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're in the suburbs of like Virginia or North Carolina, just surrounded by woods and all that shit. This is not a good book. We follow Sadie, who's the main character, as she transfers to the school after the death of her father, who was quite wealthy, and her roommate is a social outcast of some sorts with a bit of a history. Anyway, she ends up presumably dead not long after they've been introduced, and they just started being friends. And so now Sadie, whatever her name is just wrapped up in trying to find out what happened to her, alongside the girl's best friend Basil, I believe his name is, who's like the typical extravagant gay character type. They investigate what happened to her, and they do all sorts to try and get to the bottom of what happened to her. And this book was kind of well received. not super popular, but well received. But I didn't like this book at all. It was way too long. This is, I think, over 500 pages. But it's one of those ones where it's a long book for no reason. There's no depth. The mystery is extremely basic. The characters are basic. It's a YA story, a pretty contemporary YA murder mystery that didn't need to be written, to be honest with you. So we're gonna move on. The third one, again for the book club, is one I am extremely disappointed in, because this was in my TBR and I thought it was going to be good, and I put it forward and I have to take the L, and that is The Memory Wood by Sam Lloyd. This is a murder mystery. It's murder mystery. It's a mystery, I guess. This, I guess, chess prodigy, for lack of a better word. This young girl, she's about 13. She gets kidnapped during a chess tournament, and we learn through multiple POVs. We have 3 POVs in this book. We have the detective, we have someone who's sort of related to the kidnapper, and we have the girl that's been kidnapped. The only bright spot with this book is that you're kind of rooting for the girl to get out of her situation. She's a smart girl and she's quite a chess player. But overall, the mystery element and the unreliable narrator trope is just not done well in this book. The only saving grace for this book is that if it was to be adapted into a TV show, like a limited crime drama, like a British one, it would be epic, because the British can execute limited crime dramas in their sleep. It is our bread and butter, and that's about it. As a book, it just doesn't work, and I was very disappointed in it, because it was, it wasn't like I was itching to read it. It wasn't my TBR, but I was like, okay, it's a good premise, but execution was bad. The fourth book on this list is The Inmate. This is a basic book. This is just a basic book with basic narratives. It's a basic book, and it's about this inmate who may have been wrongly accused of a crime he didn't commit against his high school sweetheart, and she ends up becoming a nurse in the same prison that he's in. Obviously that kind of rekindles everything, and we get flashbacks as to what happened that day and how things went down with the group of people. It was one of those ones where someone's dying, someone's being killed, and only the people present could possibly have done it. It's one of those ones, but it's not a good book. It's highly rated, and I'm not sure why. It really wasn't good. White Nights by Dostoevsky. Very short book. I was convinced to read this book after watching a Jack Edwards video on it. It's very short. It's like 70 odd pages. It's a classic. A man and a woman that come together, and they kind of just, I don't know how to describe it. They kind of dwell, for lack of a better word, in their unrequited love. There's a bit of a love triangle going on also. It's a stupid book. Yeah, I wasn't rocking with it. It was just, there's nothing to it. Just save your money. Don't do it. I'm sorry. This is like the worst video I've probably ever recorded, because I do not like any of these books. I'm just so like, no, this was horrible. That was horrible. This was horrible. My descriptions of it, of the plot and everything, is just so poor as well, because I don't know, for me, once I just don't like a book, I can't even give it, I can't give it its due to even summarize the whole thing, because it's so shit to me. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books and what you think of them, because I just hated them so much that I honestly, this video is coming to an end right now, because I just can't be asked to keep going on talking about these books. They are out of sight, out of mind. Let me know what you think in the comments. On the screen right now is a playlist of books I've reviewed this year. Have a look on it. There'll be something there for you, I promise you. There'll be some books there that will just become your favorite books of all time. I can guarantee it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.